All right, here we go. So now we've got a complicated problem. We've got three angles. First thing you have to do is decide which relationship that you can use to solve for one of the variables. Now the best way to do this is to pick two angles that have the same variable, because if you write an equation with two different variables, you're not going to be able to solve for them. So look at the two angles that we have that have the same variable. This one has an x, this one has an x right here, this one has an x right there. And then you've got to ask yourself, what do you know about those two angles? Well, if you've watched the other video, you know that those are vertical angles. And if you know anything about vertical angles are congruent, which means that they're the same. So you have to write an equation saying that 3x minus 12 is the same as or equal to 2x. So let's write that. 3x minus 12 is equal to, because it's congruent, to 2x. They don't add up to 180, remember they're congruent. So then you just got to solve it. Subtract 3x on both sides, and now you have negative 12 equals negative 1x, and then you just divide by negative 1. And then you divide by negative 1, sorry the phone rang, and you get 12 equals x. Okay, so how does that help you? Well, first of all, let's fill in the angles. If we plug in x in all of these places, I'll write this in a different color. This one's really easy. 2 times x, or 2 times 12, makes this 24 degrees. Right? Because that's easy, you plug in 12. Now, if you know anything about vertical angles, they're the same, they're congruent. So you don't have to worry about this problem. You know that this is just going to be 24 degrees like the other one. So how does that help? Well, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. You know that these two angles have to add up to 180, right? Which means that 24 plus this thing should add up to be 180 degrees. Now, if we can just write an equation that says that, we should be able to solve for y. So let's see what we got. We know that 24 degrees, because we just found that angle, plus this mystery angle, 15y plus 6, is supposed to add up to 180 degrees because they are next to each other on the line, or they're a linear pair. They're supposed to add up to 180 degrees. So let's see what we get here. We have some like terms, so we have 24 and 6. Let's combine those and see what we get. 24 plus 6 is 30, so you would get 30 plus the 15y, which hasn't changed yet, equals 180. Then you subtract the 30 on both sides, of course. 15y equals 150. Divide by 15, divide by 15, y equals 10. There you go. Now, of course, they're going to ask you for this angle, 15y plus 6, so you got to plug it in. Well, 15 times 10, right? We know that this is going to be 10. 15 times 10 is 150, plus the extra 6 means this angle is 156 degrees. You should have also figured that out, because 24 plus 156 would add up to 180 anyway. So all of it works. And you know that this angle should be 156 too. There you go.